This is Michael Williams, founder of the Start Speaking Training Center. This is Self-Confidence Part 3, and in this video I promised you that what I would do is give you some very specific steps to improving your self-confidence, to improving your confidence. Once again, I may use the word confidence and self-confidence interchangeably. And I gave you some steps in the first video, and I gave you some steps in the second video, so I may repeat some of those, but then we might highlight a few things. So let's just jump right in and talk about some very specific things that you can do to improve your self-confidence. Now first, let's take a look at why self-confidence is important. We know that when you feel more confident, this can and often does improve your performance. So when a person feels more confident, they find that they actually speak better, right? They speak well just from feeling more confident. We also talked about the fact, so we're saying there's the feeling of confidence, and then there's also being confident. And this is another level. So after so many successful experiences, or sometimes even failures and recoveries, right? The person now has this being, this sense of confidence. They know that even if they fail, they're going to figure out a way to work through it. Or even if they mess up or get stuck, they're going to be able to handle it. Or that they're not going to mess up, right? So there's this being, this sense of being confident. The feeling doesn't even have to be there. The person just knows that they can, right? And they do, and they will. And if they fail or if they mess up, they brush it off. Okay, no problem. Everybody messes, everybody gets stuck. I got stuck. Boom, I'm just going to keep going. It's that being self-confident, which comes from experiences. So how do we do this? Well, we'll just review just a little bit. One way that we can start to feel more self-confidence is to control what you think and how you feel. Control what you think and how you feel, right? And we'll talk about how we do that in just a second. Second, we create more successful experiences. In this case, we're talking about speaking, so more successful speaking experiences. And that's my entire strategy. That's why we talk about sometimes you strategically avoid words. And someone says, that's avoidance. Yes, it is. Strategic avoidance. While you're practicing, while you're developing a new speaking style so that you don't have to avoid, we strategically avoid certain words in certain situations so you create success. Once you create success and you build confidence while you're working on being able to say those difficult words, right, and then you know that you can do it, then it comes to a place where you don't think about avoiding because you know you can do it because you've done it before. Does that make sense? So strategic avoidance is not long-term permanent avoidance. You do it strategically, okay? That's a very, very important point here. So how do we create and build and increase self-confidence? One, control what you think and how you feel. Once again, we'll go into that. Create more successful experiences in any area. It doesn't have to be speaking, but speaking too. All right, so let's go on how. Now I want you to think about this. Let's zoom out a little bit. I want you to ask yourself, what would my life look like? Now listen. What would my life look like if I spoke well? Let me say that again. I got to back up. What would my life look like if I spoke well? So here are some more specific questions that you might ask yourself. What would I be doing if I spoke well? What kind of career would I be in? What would my relationships be like? How would I feel physically, emotionally, spiritually if I spoke well? If I spoke more smoothly, more fluently, more confidently, if I felt like I controlled my speech, like if I felt free to say what I want, when I want. I'm not talking about hurting it, but being able to say what you need to say. What would your life look like? So you ask, what would my life look like if I spoke well? Then I want you to ask yourself these questions, which is related, which kind of answers this. How would I have to think moment to moment and day to day? So if I spoke well, right? So in other words, you're gonna flash forward. There used to be a TV show called Flash Forward. They took it off the air. I don't know what happened to it. You can flash forward or fast forward and then look back and say, what would I have to think? Or what would I had to have be thinking? What would I have to think moment to moment, day to day, in order to get to where I am now? Remember, you flash forward, you're speaking well. What did you have to think from moment to moment, day to day, to get there? Would you be thinking, oh, I can't do this, or I can't, or I'm going to get stuck on this word? Would you be, talking to people who's very negative, who's holding you back? Would you be holding yourself back? What would you have to be thinking on a daily basis in order to get there? What kinds of thoughts? Think about your stream of thinking. This is what you're swimming in every day. What does that stream look like? Okay? What does that look like? What kind of people would you have to associate with? The people that you associate with are going to influence you more than anything else. So there are some people that we need to limit our contact, right? There's some people that we need to limit our contact with, and we'll talk about that just a little more in a second. Because these people pull us down. They influence us negatively. They discourage us. So what kind of people would you have to associate yourself so that you feel better about who you are, you feel better about your possibilities, you feel more confident, more capable? What experiences would I need to have to speak well? What do I need? Do I need to go to Toastmasters? I highly recommend Toastmasters. Do I need to start practicing presenting more? Do I need to go out and listen to more audio, or do I need to take some classes or workshops? What is it that you need to do? Okay, what experiences do you need to have in order for you to speak well? So if you look back, what do you think you would have done to get to where you are now? One of my clients said that he was, watching some of the free videos and so forth, and he got to a certain point, and then he decided, you know what, if I want to move further, I've gotten as far as I can go by myself, I need to go more, I need to go further. And so now he's in the coaching program. He's towards the end of the coaching program. He speaks very well. And so the person says, so if you're looking back, you're saying, what do I need to commit to? What do I need to do? Once again, it doesn't have to be me, it could be something else. But what is that? Fourth, what would I, or what should I be doing differently to create more successful experiences, more learning experiences? What would I, or what should I be doing differently? So wherever you are now, right, wherever you are now, if it's not quite where you want to be, I'm not saying you're in a bad place, but wherever you are now, let's just say it's not quite where you want to be as far as speaking, career, and so forth. What do you need to do differently so that 6 months from now, a year from now, you're in a different place? You're in a better place. You're someplace that you want to be, or at least you're closer, right? So as you flash forward and then you look back, you say, aha, what did I need to do differently to get to where I am now? That's what you want to be thinking about. So let's look at just 4 things. And again, I've layered these so that a lot of this stuff I've said before. Why? Because we have to say things over and over and over again. We have to hear things over and over for it to sink in. Sometimes we say it in different ways. Someone says, well, Michael, I heard this back in one of your other programs. Yes, I know I've listened to programs, I've listened to audio, and guys saying the same thing almost in every audio, in every video. But he said it in a different way. And so when I bought this one, I listened to that one, I heard it differently. I was in a different place in my life. I had changed. He said in a different way. He had changed. He had different experiences. He explained the same concept in a different way, and I got it, whereas before, I didn't get it. So that's the reason I repeat so much, because of that. So let's look at 4 things. 1, catch yourself thinking. Catch yourself thinking and catch yourself speaking. So as you go throughout the day and as you're talking about different things, you're thinking, you're always talking to yourself through your thoughts. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about how you can speak better? Are you thinking about how you can speak more smoothly, more fluently, more confidently? Are you thinking about what it is that you're called to do, what you can do with your life? Right? Are you thinking about that and how speaking well can enable you to do that. Is that what you're thinking about? Limit or change the people you hang out with, right? So if there are people that you hang out with that are discouraging you, limit your time with them. If they're your family members, you have to hang out with them, but you can protect yourself in a sense so that they're not negatively influencing you, right? You do that as best you can. I'm not saying leave your family, don't talk to your family. I'm saying you are responsible for your progression in life, not your family. If you're young, your family is responsible to get you to a certain point, but even then, you're still responsible for how you respond, for how you react, for how you think. So your family may love you, they may be doing the best they can, but there's sometimes our friends, our family, teachers do or say things that discourage us. Sometimes we interpret them as things that are discouraging, and that's not the way they intended it. Nevertheless, you may have to limit certain people that you're around, especially if they're negatively influencing you or they're discouraging. You may have to limit your time with them. Some people clearly you shouldn't be hanging around with, so you limit your conversations. You're talking to people, sometimes we complain about things. That's all taking energy that you could be using to focus on where you want to go and how you want to get there. Does that make sense? It's all energy. And if it's negative energy, it's draining you. So you want to focus on where do you want to go, what do I need to get there, and then use your energy for that and not on complaining or talking about this or why this didn't happen and oh, this and that, right? Okay. So limit or change who you hang around with, what you talk about. Number 3, limit or change what you watch and listen to. You probably heard me say this. If you're watching stuff that's negative, and if you're listening to stuff that's sad and negative, then it at least is going to keep you where you are. And truthfully, we never really stay where we are. We're either moving forward or sliding back, right? Because time is always moving forward. So you're either sliding back or you're moving forward. You're not really staying where you are. So what you want to do is you want to monitor, well, what am I watching on TV? What am I talking about? What am I listening to as far as music? What am I looking at on my phone? What am I texting, right? What kind of conversations am I having? What am I looking at on YouTube? All of these things you want to monitor. I'm not telling you what to listen to or what to watch, what to talk about. I'm saying you are responsible for feeding yourself with things that are going to get you where you need to go. So the question is, what should you be watching? What should you be listening to get you where you need to go? Let me say that again. What should you be watching and what should you be listening to get you where you need to go? Only you can answer that question. Fourth and finally, act confidently. So that is, when you act confidently, when you do things that take a little courage, take a little risk, then you become more confident. When you act confidently, you behave confidently, you become more confident, even if you fail. Because eventually, if you're wise, you figure, okay, I did that and that sucked. I did that and I failed at that. So why? What can I do differently? Okay, then you figure it out. And you say, oh, I did that and that was a little better. And then you keep doing that and you keep acting confidently. Then you develop these successful experiences. You say, okay, I know I can do that because I did it before. Even if it's only you did it well 5 minutes or 10, I did it before. So now you have this successful experience. Once again, going back to the brain, simple memory. You have this memory of you doing it well, right? So memory is an experience. You've experienced it because you acted confidently, which doesn't mean it's going to go smooth. It means you are going to run into obstacles, barriers, you're going to fail sometime. Does that make sense? So let me run over those before we talk about how. Number 1, catch yourself thinking and speaking. Monitor what you're thinking. Monitor what you're talking about. Number 2, limit or change who you hang out with, if you need to. Right, if you need to. Limit or change who you hang out with. Number 3, limit or change what you watch and listen to. So getting you where you want to go. Number 4, act more confidently. Sure, you're going to be afraid. Sure, sometimes you're going to be embarrassed. Control it as much as you can, but you got to get out there and you have to do it. Toastmasters, making presentations, taking certain risks, act confidently. Okay? I hope that this series was helpful for you. I will be coming out, not sure when, with an audio series that I'll make available to you. I want to encourage you to check out. We got a new Ustream TV show coming out, live. You'll be able to interact with me. We'll be talking about some things that hopefully will be inspiring and encouraging and instructional. Also want to encourage you to check out our Pro 90D webinar series. It's affordable for most people, but maybe not everyone, depending on where you live and your employment situation. But I've tried to make it as affordable as possible, but it is valued such that you have to invest something to come to this, because you're going to have to invest your time and your energy in this. So check out one of our Pro 90D webinars. You definitely want to do that. And if you're ready to take that next step, only if you're ready to take the next step, you can check out a private intensive coaching. Okay? So we only want people that are convinced that I'm the right person to work with you. We'll do an interview, little application process to see if it's a good fit for you, and if you're ready to move forward, then I look forward to working with you. Thank you very much. Keep your emails and your comments, especially your comments. Keep your comments coming. And if you like this video, make sure you like it, Google Plus it, Facebook it, Twitter it. Do everything you can, as I said, to share this video to get it out there, okay? Look forward to seeing you at the next Pro 90D webinar. This is Michael Williams.